Got the loud torpedo heater out of the way. Got it unplugged. Got the two smaller heaters running, so please bear with me. I'm gonna get myself set up here. I'm gonna do back work today, and maybe a little bit of arms thrown in there as well. Top of the morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Maybe I'll start out with shoulders today. I don't know. Yeah, maybe shoulders. I'll start with shoulders today. You guys got any questions? You want to talk about any hot topics? Bring it up. Let me know. Morning, Cindy. I feel bad for the people of Chicago. They are going through some stress right now. The heater's working good. I don't have a finished ceiling. I keep saying I'm going to finish the ceiling. I haven't finished the ceiling. Maybe I'll finish the ceiling this weekend. I don't know. This weekend or next weekend. I got this half over here. I'll show you real quick. I got this half over here to fill in, and I lose a lot of my heat up in that attic space. So I need to get to a point where I fix it, instead of talking about it. And that's the problem, is we talk about things and we don't ever get to it because it's not a priority, and it hasn't been a priority. So I'm to the point now where I need to fix it. I got one running here and I got one running over there on the wall. And they work great. That one's louder than this one. This one's much quieter. And then I got another heater buried underneath this table over here. But it's not, obviously not operational. I don't have it running. I have a feeling once I get the attic closed off here, I'll be fine because I insulated all the walls before I put the wood up. So I should be fine. And it's got to get this all sealed up here. Yeah. I didn't really try to do anything super fancy with it. I just started taking boards and just nailing it up and said, whatever happens, happens. I'm not trying to be perfect. This was a budget house, and I didn't spend a lot of money on this house. I think we paid like $245 for this house, and I just wanted it to be nicer than. And I'd like to put some insulation on this garage door. I heard there's like an insulation padding you can put on the garage door, and it helps keep the heat in as well. I don't know if it's a gimmick or not, but No, I don't, Cindy. I work at a dealership. Insulating the door can't hurt, okay. When I did my ceiling, I did attic ladder, plywood, storage area, and did blown cellulose insulation. It works so good. Yeah, maybe I'll end up doing that. Maybe I'll take some 2x4s and throw it across the where the wood comes together. Because the spacing on this wood was terrible. So once the ceiling's done, I'm going to have to crawl up in there and actually build some supports that tie into the supporting joists, because when I threw the wood up there, I literally just threw it up to get the heat to stay in the garage. And then I'm going to have to climb up there with some 2x4s and actually take a saw and stuff up there with me and my nail gun and actually build the supports that go in between the wood pieces and tie them into the support joists, because I didn't do that while I was there. I just wanted to get the ceiling up quick. And I did, but now it needs to be kind of semi-reinforced. I appreciate that, Tim. Good morning, Leroy. Good morning, everybody. Paul, good morning to you. Thanks for coming. Home Depot gives a blower machine for free when you buy the... Yeah, I used to blow cellulose insulation. Yep, please hit that thumbs up, that like on the way in, if you can, please. I used to blow cellulose insulation for a company out of Limestone, Illinois called Innovative Insulation. The owner's name is Brian St. Aubin. That was his name. That was back when I was a teenager. I blew and I sprayed cellulose insulation. That's what my job was. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It keeps us tighter as a community. And for some reason, YouTube has actually been unsubscribing me from some of your channels that do make content, and I have subscribed to you. They, for some reason, unsubscribed me from your channel. I was just on Rayman Ray's channel the other day, because he has like a kind of a shop expansion thing going on, and I was like, what the heck? Why am I not subscribed to his channel? This is ridiculous. Why have they been doing this lately? So they have a habit, if you're not interacting and you're not participating, you look like a bot just sitting on the account, but you're never leaving comments and you're never doing anything, they unsubscribe you. And I watch his content, but I try to stay out of his business because he's a mechanic giving his own recommendations, and I like watching him. Sometimes it's better to watch and not say anything, but I think every once in a while, checking in to say hi, buddy, or whatever, it keeps you active on the channel, and YouTube then doesn't boot you off the channel. I guess, anyway. I don't know. Morning, monkey, knuckle deep. What type of knuckle deep are we talking about? What type of knuckle deep are we talking about? Such a funny name. Yeah, I can feel that in this left rotator cuff. Super glad. What's up? Oh, buddy. Fist. Super glad. We've covered this so much, man. It's not really worth getting back into, man. I beat this like a dead horse. I'll give you the gist of it. I went into business with my buddy. He was having a hard time doing it by himself. He made me the general manager of his facility. I invested some money in the company. I was supposed to come on board with him and be part owner. Turns out, a year and some odd change later, there's really no money in the company. There's no money to market the company. And the investors of the company that own part of the company don't want another partner on board. So there was no incentive for me to be there. There was no medical. There was no insurance of any type. I left. I'm in a better spot now as a senior tech at a Volkswagen dealer running the recon department. Basically, I'm my own manager in the recon department, but I do have people that I have to answer to. Okay. I need more weight to challenge myself. I stopped caring about follower count ever since I deleted hundreds of people for celebrating the offing Charlie Kirk is a business. I respect it though. Yeah, you know, I wanted people to leave me that were celebrating that. You don't celebrate somebody else's death, no matter who they are, unless they were just downright a sicko that nobody really cared about. You know, a P3DO person, a pedo, I have no respect for those people. None. Zero. An animal abuser, a child abuser, or a pedo, or a rapist. I don't have any sympathy for those people. I just don't. And if that makes me not human, then I'll be not human. I'll be okay with that. Trying to figure out how I want to put this. Well, yeah, I kind of, you know what, in a sense, I haven't completely owned up to it, super glad, like the fact that I actually did get done dirty. I haven't really let that set in, the fact that I lost almost $20,000 in investing in this company and then had nothing to show for it, but I don't want that to ruin my friendship with my friend. I'm trying my best to hold on to it without thinking about the negative because he really is a good guy. But there is a huge part of me that's still sour about that. Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. The K word, I can switch it out sometimes when I catch it. Is the Prius still the best engine platform ever? I don't know. I mean, they're good, don't get me wrong, but I've never been a huge fan of the Priuses, even though they're very reliable. I actually like the Ford hybrid systems better. The 2.5 hybrid with Ford. I really love that system. I think it's a very reliable system. But yeah, you might be right. For the most part, it may still be considered the best. We got a guy at work that's got one, and he absolutely loves it. He says he gets something like 50, 60 miles to the gallon. So it must be a pretty reliable platform if this guy's got hundreds of thousands of miles on his car. But what ends up happening is the battery ends up going bad eventually, and it needs like a $3,000-$4,000 battery. Some of them are even more than that. What are the best runner-ups? I've heard the 2008 Prius or tanks, but that runner-ups, I mean, I would say Honda hybrid and Ford hybrid. Oh man, property taxes in Chicago. I don't know if you guys got to see, but there was a segment on the news. Let me try a different spot with this. I don't know if I want that there or not. What about over here? This a little better. There was a segment on the news where the tax assessor's office in Chicago was talking about how they don't actually agree with what the mayor is doing with all the taxes. I'd love to see that, because that just goes to show you that no matter, they're in his department too, and they don't care. They agree that that's something wrong. You can't tax people to the point where they can't afford to be in your city, because how are you going to have businesses and stuff there? How are you going to employ all the people that you employ and keep the tax dollars and stuff in? Businesses are leaving. They're leaving, and they basically, the tax assessor's office says we have $70-some million in overpaid taxes, yet nobody wants to talk about that. This is overpaid tax money that needs to go back to the people, and they don't even know about it. And I was actually victim to that. I didn't actually know that I overpaid on taxes until I called the tax assessor's office, and they actually gave me an online account to go to and check in on, do I have money that's sitting there? And sure enough, there was $2,400 just sitting there that I overpaid, and I got my money back. About 2 weeks later, I had a check in the mail at the door with all my overpaid money. And she says that, all these big business centers and stuff like that, where there's like only one or two businesses, but the rest of the business center is all completely vacant. Who do you think pays the taxes on that? That gets pushed over on the taxes, or on the people in the community that pay property taxes. That all gets factored into how much taxes they pay for their property as well. Somebody has to pay for that. I don't know if you guys watch that. You could probably go on Google it and see what they say. Well, yeah. Now it's more than that, Tim. Now the mayor has got it to where it's like double, if not triple. Some people are saying our property tax is now higher than our mortgage. I can't afford to pay. You know, I went from $2,400, $3,000, $4,000 in property tax to like $8,000 now. I can't afford to pay that. Yeah, it's sad. People are getting bent over every which way they can right now. Good morning, Joe. You must live in a really nice house. There's some nicer homes here in some nicer areas up north. And those, I think my uncle like 10, 15 years ago when he was up in Palatine, he said his property taxes were only like $8,000, $9,000. He said now over the last few years it's up to like $14,000, $15,000 in property taxes. And he said it's absolutely ridiculous. And he does live in a really big, very nice home. Yeah, which is the sad part. Oh, JD Pigster. He removes his toilets in his mansions, so he doesn't have to pay property taxes because it's inhabitable, and it's like not completely no taxes, but he goes from hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes to practically nothing, $10,000 in taxes because he takes the toilets out of his home to make it inhabitable, which puts him in a different tax bracket because it's inhabitable. Pays the $10,000 and then pays a plumber to come back in and put all the toilets back in. It's ingenious if you ask me, but he's a freaking crook at the same time. He learned how to work the system just like the other politicians. Scumbags. Yeah. My house is 4,000 square feet on 3.5 acres, but even my little house that was 1,400 square feet was 7,800. Yep. Well, I think it's more than Dem's gonna Dem, to be honest with you. As much as I'd like to say you're right, Robert, it's just rich people and politicians in general. If they can get away with it, they're gonna do it. It's not like a Democrat-Republican thing. If they can get away with it, they're going to do it. There's a reason why they have the money that they have, and it's because they've learned to work the system to their advantage. Starting to feel it under pressure. Ideally, what do I got on here right now? 90, 70. So I got 160 on the pull down right now. Ideally, I'd like to get to 185. No, I take that back. Ideally, I'd like to get to about 210. If I can do 210 7 to 8 times real good, that's my goal by my birthday. Is to be able to do at least 8, I want to say 8 to 10 lat pull downs with about 210. That would be amazing. I don't even really see most people, like when they work out, like I've worked my way up, I could only do like, I could barely do 140 10 times when I started all this because I was so out of shape. But I've worked my way up quite a bit, and I'd like to get up to, like I said, about 210, a good solid 8 to 10 times by my birthday in January 24th. Well, I've lost a lot of weight. A lot of people, but losing a lot of weight comes with a lot of skin, so I'm trying to build up those areas where there's a lot of loose skin, and I'm trying to eat more quality calories, so I slow down the weight loss, and pretty soon I'm going to kick it into overdrive and turn up the weight loss a little bit more and the strength training a little bit more. I'm just trying to get to, my goal right now is to get to about 270. I was almost 380 when all this started. My goal right now is to get to about 270 before I start turning it up. So I've got about 10, 12 more pounds to lose, and then about 20 more pounds to lose, and then I'm going to really start cranking it out. I'm starting to be more mobile. I was going to get a car the other day, and I didn't even notice it. I was in a hurry to get a car because a customer was coming to buy it, and I had to get the inspection and everything done. It was a car with fairly low miles, and I actually took off running across the parking lot, and I was like, wait a second, did I just do that? I haven't done that in years. I don't just go run, and I actually feel good. I feel really good. I'm way more mobile and agile than I was before, a lot faster than what I was before, especially completing jobs and stuff. I was fast before, but now I'm even faster. So it definitely helps. I used to have to back the vehicles out of my stall to do the cabin air filters, then I'd have to open the door. Now I just jump in the vehicles from the driver's seat, and I wedge my torso in between the steering wheel and the center console, and I just reach over and drop the glove box and do it from inside the car without even having to pull it out of the stall or anything. Now I don't need all this extra room. So you notice how your time changes and how you actually feel better and how you start moving better once you start trying to get more healthy and become more conscious of your own health, your physical health, your mental health, everything. It feels great. So yeah, I feel amazing, and I did lose some strength in certain areas because losing weight, sometimes you will lose lean muscle mass if you're not eating enough protein to accommodate the weight loss and the new healthy lifestyle. So the doctor, for me, he really pushes, I want you to pound the protein. You're a guy your size, you're probably not going to be able to achieve enough protein in the day. So when you're eating, you need to be having some kind of protein source with your food. I don't care if it's with a salad or with what, it needs to be ample amount of protein so you can try to preserve that lean muscle mass. And also at the same, there's I can get into so many different topics with this. People fear mongering over, like I'm on TRT because my test levels dropped extremely low, and there's people on here that are like, oh, you don't want your estrogen levels to go through the roof, because if you get your estrogen levels to go through the roof, you're going to get man boobs and everything else. And estrogen does more than just create that atmosphere. Estrogen is actually very responsible for aerobic
what do they call it? Aerobic type activity that happens in the cell at like the mitochondrial level and stuff like that. Estrogen plays a huge factor in how your body actually makes, processes, produce energy wise, how your body burns fat and metabolizes things. So guys that are on TRT that are like super anti-estrogen, they don't understand that they're actually, by not letting your body produce some estrogen to accommodate some of that, or that testosterone level, you're actually kind of hampering some of your progress in the gym. So you got to be careful of that as well, because estrogen, even in men, it does play a key factor in how your body metabolizes things, creates energy, mitochondrial health, all this other stuff. I can take this to a completely different level that most of you probably won't want to go to, and I'm learning more and more every day myself as I dig into this stuff. So, anyway. Appreciate that, Robert. Bye. Can I just say Lou? Is that Lou or Loam? Lou? Can I say Lou? 5143. Can I just call you Lou? Yeah, Anthony, you got the worst of the worst. Well, I don't know about the worst of the worst. They're pretty tied. Our governor and your governor? The most I've been so far, if it's okay that I call you Lou, the most I've been so far is I went on a 7-day fast. I lost about 38 pounds. And then on the 7th day, I started to convince myself that I couldn't keep doing it. And I stopped myself, and I should have just kept going. But I was completely fine. I just had a mind issue, a mental issue that I broke down, and I couldn't keep pushing forward because I convinced myself that I couldn't, but I could have. I was fine. Hey Rich, are you still on board with Valvoline High Mileage Oil 5W30? Yeah, it's one of the best oils you can put in any vehicle, actually. The High Mileage Valvoline Max Life technology. I love that stuff, man. It's one of the best oils on the market. It's affordable. Almost every single Walmart has it. I think recently they've changed their packaging a little bit. It's more like red and it's a little more updated. But I love that stuff. It's great oil. I was 250, got down to 225, and stalled out for the last 2 months. My thing was, when that happened to me a couple weeks ago, when I stalled out and I'd lost any weight pretty much all week, I was eating too much beef. My body was having a hard time processing the amount of beef that I was eating, so I switched my protein source up to chicken and turkey for a little bit and gave my body a break, and it was easier for my body to break it down. And then by like day 4 or 5, all of a sudden my body just cleaned itself out overnight. I lost like 3.5 pounds, and then I fasted the next day to kind of help the cleaning process. And then I kind of went back and I mixed it up. I don't do beef every single day anymore. I might do beef and then turkey and then chicken, and then I'll go maybe to pork and then I go back to beef again. So I'm not doing the same protein all the time, because a lot of those, your body has a harder time breaking down certain proteins. You just got your TRT up to 400 milligrams every 2 weeks. That's about what I'm on. 400 milligrams every 2 weeks, actually. What I do is 200 a week. I do 100 on Monday and like 100 on Friday, Thursday or Friday, and then I'll do the same thing the following week as well. And after a year of doing it, I became saturated within 6 months, but fully saturated within a year. And I don't know if you guys know what saturated means. If you do, then I won't explain it again. But if you want me to explain it, I will. I became fully saturated within a year, and my numbers went from, at 6 months I was up to about 800, somewhere around there, and then at a year on the same dose I was up to, I'm at about 1150, 1100, 1150, and that the doctor said that's perfect. That's a perfect spot to be for muscle building and your weight loss journey and everything else. We don't want to change anything at this point. Stay the course, keep working out, you need to drink plenty of water when on TRT, because if you're not drinking a gallon or more of water a day, especially on TRT or also on weight loss medications, your what do they call it? Your hematocrit will actually start to get it'll get really it'll get thick, almost as if it can't do its job properly and stuff like that. I'm not using the right term, but you know what I mean. Drinking enough water will actually normalize those numbers, and your body will be a lot healthier. But if you don't drink enough water, they can tell when they do your lab results and say, how much water are you drinking a day? Because your numbers here on your hematocrit, they're all screwed up. Oh, I only drink like half a gallon or a quarter gallon. No, you got to drink water when you're on TRT, because the numbers will get screwed up. Your levels will be great, but other numbers will be all screwed up if you're not actually consuming enough water. Yeah, I don't do any soda. I had a soda a couple months ago. I had one soda a couple months ago at dinner because we were celebrating something. But 2 months before that, I didn't have anything. 2.5 months before that, didn't have anything. I cleaned it up completely. And then last night, I actually went to go get some garlic Parmesan chicken wings, the non-breaded ones. And my wife wanted something from a local place, and they have the best chicken wings that I've ever had. And I can only finish like a dozen of them. I get 18, but I can only finish like 12, because by the time I get to the 12th one, with me not eating as much now and cleaning up my diet, I eat about a dozen big wings and I'm done. I can't handle it anymore. It feels like I'm going to throw up, especially on the weight loss medication. So it makes you nauseous if you go overboard. So I quit there. But anyway, I had the lady asked me when I was waiting at the bar for the wings to come out. She said, "You want something to drink?" And I said, "You know what? Could I have one diet soda, please? Just a small glass. I don't want one of the big glasses. Just give me a little small glass with some ice." And she said, "Why?" She didn't even charge me for it. She just handed me a little small Diet Coke. I hate Diet Coke, but I wanted to treat myself a little bit. I had one little small plastic cup, like little half-size solo cup of diet soda, and I said, "You know what? That was my fix. I won't do this again for a couple months." I mean, you could obviously do it more if you wanted to. I'm just not that interested in drinking stuff like that. And every once in a while, I'll get a little itch that I want to scratch. So no juices, barely any milk at all. If I did milk, I'd probably want to do raw milk. I love raw milk. No sugary drinks, none of that. Just water and coffee for the most part. Every single day, that's all I drink. Tried a sauna suit? No, it has been a long time since I've done anything like that. I'm trying to climb from my T levels, being down to 137. It's going to take a minute to get me saturated. Yeah, I mean, mine was 217, so it took a while. You're right. It took about 6 months to be where it was a really good point, and then it took another 6 months to be absolutely phenomenal. Need to stay away from aspartame? I mean, I don't really agree with that, Anthony. I mean, I guess there's differing opinions on that. Aspartame has been around since like 1980, and there's been not a single conclusive study that aspartame actually does anything harmful to humans. They've done it on rats, and they gave rats like 6 to 9 times the amount that a normal person would consume. That's what they based their study off of. They actually have no conclusive studies that are done with like a whole panel and like studying the study to make sure that it was done correctly or any of that. They've done none of that on aspartame. So I guess we can say what we want, think what we want, but I'm more of a realist than I am an optimist or a pessimist and all that other stuff. I see things as they are. And when you look at the studies that have been done, they're garbage. They're not even good studies. I do stevia. I will do stevia in my coffee sometimes. It used to be so hard for me to do that before. That's 245s and 235s, so that comes out to Well, 160, right? 160. I should throw the 25s on there and see where I'm at now. Just give myself a test run to see what I'm up against. You know what? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm gonna look like a bag of butt trying to pull it though. All right. Wow. No, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Robert. Mine is erythritol, which is safe. They use it in baking and stuff for diabetics. It's not the maltodextrin and all that other stuff that's got like a glycemic index that's through the roof. It's erythritol and stevia. Or I get the monk fruit. I prefer the monk fruit and stevia 50-50 mix. I love it. And monk fruit actually has, it's got some bacteria feeding properties to it as well, like to help with good gut health. So there's been some studies on that as well, that if you actually use monk fruit sweetener, it's actually pretty healthy for you. And it has zero glycemic index, so it's not supposed to spike your own insulin and all that other stuff, but we know that necessarily isn't true. It may have a zero glycemic index, but your insulin is always going to get spiked. As soon as you start thinking about food and that you know you're going to put food in your mouth, your body automatically starts preparing ahead of time to actually start digesting and processing food, so it will start to slowly release certain chemicals to actually prepare for what you're about to do. So to say something has a zero glycemic index and it doesn't really affect your insulin secretion or blood sugar, that's false. I mean, it may have a zero glycemic index, but your body is always going to start to prepare for sustenance and food, something that you're going to put in your body, and it's going to get chemicals ready and start to move through the body so it can actually start doing its job properly. Dextrose is the same as what your body produces naturally, so it doesn't spike your insulin response. Herbal gummy bears. A lot of bodybuilders actually use dextrose, isn't it? Isn't it dextrose that they use for like trying to replenish certain glucose levels or getting their insulin to? Milkshakes will help with that. I remember a product that was on the market. Maybe you guys know what it is. Even you can help me remember the name. It used to be a big white container. It was kind of tall, and it was a big fat container, and it had a blue label on it. And it was by that, that professional trainer, bodybuilder guy. What's his name? Hani Rambod or something like that. He's like a world-renowned bodybuilder trainer, and I think it was his brand. And he used it. He used it pre and intra, and he could even use it post to refill the. It was a safer version of sugar to actually refeed the muscles properly, because they are built better with a little bit of glucose, and it was a safer version to actually refeed your muscles rather than getting straight sugar and stuff and crappy carbs. Nancy, how are you? Anyway, I'm going to try this. I'm going to look like a goofy doing it, so don't laugh at me. I'm nervous. No, it wasn't muscle milk. It was something else. It was a safe carbohydrate for bodybuilders. It was like a muscle feed carbohydrate type thing. I could probably Google it. And no, it's not what it was called. I forget what it was called. All right, I'm gonna try this real quick. If it starts to hurt, I'm gonna stop. All right. Oh, God, I can't. Ah. It's a little shaky. Form was broke. Because I'm not as heavy as I was, it's literally pulling me out of the seat. I can't keep my weight down on the seat. I'm going to have to strap myself in. I'm going to be able to do that. Same weight right there. By my birthday in January. 10 times. A lot easier than what I just did. I want it to be smooth. And just so you guys can see I'm not lying. It's a 25, a 35, and a 45. On both sides. That's what I'm shooting for. That's my goal. No. 90 plus 70 is 160 plus 50. Yeah, it's 210. So quick question. I have a 2010 Mustang GT 4.6 that I put a Whipple supercharger on. I switched to 5W50. Do you think I should switch to Ford Racing 820 oil filter versus normal? Yes, I do. I like the Ford Racing oil filter. It's a very, very good filter. It's thicker, especially if you're going to be getting into it. You're going to have less chance of it bursting under load. Nancy, Lord, crazy. That felt good though. I mean, it did feel good. It didn't feel like it hurt at all. It was just, I'm getting so light that I can't keep the weight. I can't keep my body down on the bench to pull safely because I'm starting to be I'm getting pulled off of the bench. Do you have a video for AMG? What's your electrical? Huh? What's up, Satan? Good morning. Electrical EMG brake service light? I don't even use it to the F250. What do you mean the electronic parking brake? Service parking brake light? I don't even use it. Yeah, the reason that the service parking brake light is on is because you don't use it. You're gonna probably have to take the brakes apart, clean everything. You're gonna have to make sure everything's free back there. Put the truck in service mode. Push the brakes back in. Let the brakes come back out. Put the brakes in service mode. Go to the back of the truck. Take the tires off, push the piston in, make sure it's moving. Then go inside the truck before you even touch the brake pedal. Take it back out of service mode, then touch the brake pedal so it can travel back out. And as long as you do all that, it should free it up and it should stop setting it. You probably haven't used it for so long that it recognizes it's stuck in a certain position or it hasn't moved from a certain position and it needs to be moved. Those of you that have electronic parking brakes or even regular parking brakes, one of the number one things that you can do that causes them to go bad is by not using them. Little one's good. She's growing like weed, man. She's so fast now. She's like freaking crawling like a maniac, and then instead of going like one step at a time and trying to figure out how to do it, she goes to the stairs and she goes doop, 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 doop. She's standing up on her own. The other day she like spun around on one foot while she was standing up, not holding anything. So she's so close to walking. So close. If that doesn't work, you might end up having to replace components in your braking system, to be honest with you. Unfortunately, I hope it doesn't go to that. I'm gonna go to one more set here, and then I'm gonna go in the house. I'm gonna go spend some time with the family this morning because we got a bunch of games this morning. All right. All right. It's enough. It's enough of this hero shit. Excuse my mouth. Yeah. It's got to be cold there because it's freezing here. Stop heating. Stop heating. Stop heating. Okay. All right. You've inspired me. Must get a workout in today. No excuse. Have a blessed day. You as well, Nancy. Yeah, get that workout on. It's good for everything. Every part of your body, your mind, your physical state, your health, emotional state, everything. It's great for it. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. You guys take care. I got to go in the house and do a few things before we get out of here today. It was nice talking to y'all and hanging out this morning. We'll do the same thing tomorrow, about the same time, if you guys don't mind. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Be blessed. Take care.